All right, and welcome to a special episode of the Infamous Chronicles, where we are live in Las Vegas, Nevada, with actor Alan Regimbal and some friends. So first up on the mic, Alan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Yeah.
And then Marie, welcome to the show.
Hello.
And then from Maternal Instincts, we have Emery.
What?
She's smoking in the corner. Weed. So tonight we're gonna call this the escalating episode because we have just taken Molly, and we're not quite there yet, but I think we're gonna get there en route on this episode. Right?
Yeah, we'll be experiencing it together.
Yes. Oh yes. All right. Before we get high, though, let's give an update. So the last time you were on the show,
Yes.
we talked about Bone Jangles.
Yep.
And then you recently went to a horror fest in Texas.
Yeah, the Texas Frightmare in Dallas. That was a lot of fun.
And now we have some
And Bone
progress.
Jangles. Yeah, Bone Jangles was actually being advertised there, which is awesome. It comes out July, I think it's July 11th or July 18th on VOD and DVD and Blu-ray and everything.
Perfect.
So it'll be awesome. No, got that going on. That actually was shot a couple years ago, but since then I've done a couple other horror anthologies. The other one I was in is 10/31/16 is what it's called.
Is that a police code?
Yes, it is.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
You're so smart. That's what I love about you.
I'm observant.
That's true. Very true. No, and the other one is for We Are Many, part of the film Bad Company. It's their production company is Hex Media, which is out of the UK. So I can't wait for that one to come out. That was awesome. I was completely dolled up in demon attire and complete makeup and everything, and yeah, it was a really awesome shoot. That was a lot of fun.
And now you're working on your own independent film.
Yeah, it's I'm one thing I've always wanted to do, especially I think as any actor or anyone that's handles anything creatively, they want to other outlets and everything, and that's one thing I never was good at in school was actually writing, but now being more so in the scene of film and acting and all that, I wanted to try that avenue of writing. So my buddy Mark and I, we wrote a short horror, and Brett Yeager that did Bone Jangles, him and his production company Labyrinth Films, they're gonna take on our short that we're hoping to start filming this fall. So that'll be a lot of fun because then I can get it out. It'll be in time to get out in festivals and everything. The start of 2018.
So way back in 2012,
Yeah.
you were our first guest ever on the
Yeah.
show. Now we're 4 years later. We've just hit our 100th episode,
Yep.
and then here we are.
Heck yeah. I remember the last episode I was on with you was, I think, shortly right after I moved back to Sioux Falls because I was at my parents' house and I did the podcast over the phone with you and we're just
That was for
talking
the
film
50th.
and everything. Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say we were just talking. And
So it's been 50 episodes since you've been on.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so this is your fourth or third total?
I think fourth, I want to say.
Yeah. And then, Marie, you've never been on the show.
I've witnessed.
Witnessed? Have you? Okay.
Witness to
truthfully,
greatness.
Have you ever heard an episode? That's okay if you haven't.
If you count the one that I was in the background doing homework because I was still in college for one of those, then yes, I've heard your show.
I'm going to count it.
I'm going to round up. That's
Yeah.
an episode.
That's a solid episode. Yeah, for sure. And then Amory now, she does her own show.
Yeah, the Maternal Podcast.
Maternal Podcast.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's about mamas.
Yeah.
It's too bad you don't live closer, Marie, because
No
you're a mama
shit.
yourself
Mm-hmm.
with Dose Childreno.
Yep.
So Marie is Alan's wife. They have 2 kids together now.
Yep.
Let's call them Minnie and Minnie Regimbal.
That's pretty close, actually, with the names.
And Minnie Regimbal is close in age to Minnie Infamous.
Mm-hmm.
But they've actually
Yep.
never met, right?
No.
No.
Never met.
That's one thing that we want to do. For sure. Got to do.
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's October. That's gonna happen.
That'd be super fun. So, South Dakota acting.
Yep.
What's that like?
It's not
'Cause
bad.
You've lived in LA and you lived in South
Yeah,
Dakota.
I lived in LA in hopes of, as I was single and I wanted to do more acting, but I got actually set up with a decent job, so all I did was work. And I was way away from auditions.
I feel like now that
So,
he's in South Dakota, he's actually getting more.
Yeah, I've actually gotten way more stuff. I think, and
But do you think that's because, and in no way am I meaning this, that's what I was going to say. I wasn't meaning to be a dick, but do you think it's because there's a lot less competition than Los Angeles?
It could be. I mean, it very well could be, and plus two, I mean, the one I say I like, I mean, the last film I just did, like, it was last weekend. I did a shot in Minneapolis, but that horror short, the director, I was sitting there talking with him, and we had a long discussion about, he's done a lot of stuff, but he lives...
What's the director's name?
Carlos.
There you go.
And Carlos, I mean, he was talking, it's crazy that, I mean, and it makes total sense. He's like, if I have gigs or I have anything coming up, I have to direct or do whatever, he's like, I'll fly out. He's like, I love living in Minneapolis. It's way cheaper, and it's so much easier just to, if I have something going on, just fly somewhere for a weekend or a week or whatever. And
let me ask you this. For people that are coming from the Midwest or the East Coast to LA to pursue an acting career, is there anything you would tell them if you met them?
Honestly, I would just tell them not to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, because nothing against, because I'm sure I'm stereotyping, but I've done stage theater, and so many stage actors you can actually like pick them out. Like, oh, they are uber dramatic. Like, they are, oh my God, you're probably a stage theater actor, aren't you?
Do you think stage acting helps or discourages from screen acting?
I don't know. I mean, I did it. And honestly, the only reason why I stopped, I mean, I enjoy doing it because I like acting, but it is so much more work, I feel, than acting on film or commercials. I mean, when you're on the stage,
fuck up your lines, right?
No, it's continuous, and I mean, you're doing 5 days of rehearsals a week, and it's like,
damn.
As a parent or anyone, I mean, that's a lot of time. I mean, if especially if you're a stage theater actor, I mean, a lot of it, I mean, unless you're in bigger shows, it's all community theater for the most part, so you're not getting paid. So it's like, okay, this is like another part-time job, but I'm not getting paid. And a lot of them I see, especially in Sioux Falls, they just do it because of love of acting. I mean, they're not planning on it going any further, but...
Well, my other question for you that I was going to ask, I know that you don't do a lot of SAG projects.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, for people that are pursuing the SAG card, what's your take on that? And do you think you can exist as an actor outside of the SAG card?
Yeah, I think so. That's one thing I actually learned in the last couple films I've did. Even director speaking, it's so much more of a pain to hire SAG actors. I mean, if it was a large project and I had to do it, I would totally go out of my way and I will get the SAG card and everything. But, I mean, it's unionized, so you only can work so many hours a day.
Whether you're SAG or not.
No, if you're SAG. If you're SAG, you only can work so many hours. I mean, it's like a strict, almost like, it's a strict working structure where it's like you only can work about 8 hours a day. If you're working so many non-SAG projects, you will actually get penalized. Like, there's a whole entire...
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's like...
It's a big freaking deal.
It's, if I'm in LA, or not even LA, but if I'm in, like, you know, doing stuff in LA, Atlanta, where it's a huge hub right now, if it's a lot of large projects where it's a lot of, it has to be, like, I have to be SAG.
And are they flying you, or are you paying to fly out for a project?
It depends. Some of the stuff I've done, a lot of it, if it was either, you know, smaller roles or whatever, like, I've driven myself, and some of them will pay for transportation, but if not, in my head, I still think of it as, especially any new coming actor, I think of it as you're investing in yourself. Like, sure, if you have to be there a weekend, if they're paying for your lodging and everything, but you just have to pay to travel and whatever, it's like, okay, I can justify...
Do they normally pay for one or the other?
Yeah, they usually do. Yeah. A lot of the stuff I've done, and I ask it too. I mean, that's any new actor, I mean, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, honestly, I mean, because you don't, I mean, some of the stuff I've done, I'm like, okay, so is like lodging provided? Or like, I mean, as any normal person traveling, that would be something you would want to know, because it's like, okay, do I need to plan this ahead? But
yeah. Well, let me ask this question for Murray over here, Mrs. REGIMBAL.
Yeah.
I know that you guys have 2 children, one male, one female. If either one of them were to pursue a career in acting, how would that make you feel now that you've seen your husband do it, and then you've got 2 kids? Let's say one of them was interested in acting. What would be your response to something like that?
Oh, I totally would support it. It's just totally, you have to be smart about it. You can't just, you know, go straight into acting right away. I mean, unless you're just some child prodigy and Disney Channel or somebody picks you up. I feel like he went about it the right way now. Is that he's got a good job that's supportive of it. He has a good income to where...
So he could either do his job or do acting.
And do it both simultaneously.
And as any actor, I mean, the hope and dream is eventually I'll start getting big enough projects where this can be my full-time job.
Yeah.
Or all I'm doing is acting. I mean, that's obviously the dream, but...
But would you discourage one of your children from pursuing an acting career now, Marie, or would you be supportive of it?
I would never discourage any of my children from doing something that they want and love.
Yeah.
I'll support them no matter what.
What about you, Alan? At this point, like if one of your two kids, if your guys' children were to want to pursue a career in acting, would you let them? And if you would you have any words for them, one way or the other?
I would not discourage it at all. I mean, I think it'd be awesome. I mean, that's one thing why I think the way I'm made is with my parents and my family, everyone being so supportive that I mean, especially my wife and everyone, and especially my boss at work, they're so supportive of me doing this. Like they'll go out of their way to make it work. Yeah. And I would tell my kids that, I would want to be the same. I would want to be supportive and let them be as creative as they can. And
what made you, because I know you and I served in the military together.
Yeah.
What made you feel that acting was a good choice or a progressive choice for you? Why did you do
it? It was honestly probably more of a mistake. I mean, I've always...
You got into modeling first, right?
Not really. I mean, I had someone notice me and they wanted to do a photo shoot that was like a local magazine in town, and that was kind of cool. But honestly, it all started. I mean, I've loved film and I love movies, everything, and
we're both huge cinephiles.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I think it made us realize we had something in common.
Oh yeah,
in the get-go,
quoting movies or just anything. But my ex, she was honestly it was a dinner theater that was shown in town. It was an off-Broadway production of Tony and Tina's Wedding.
Oh, right.
And she auditioned for it. I had no intention of auditioning, but I just honestly was going with her. And it all started, the director that was doing it, he saw me and was just like, hey, you auditioning? I'm like, no, I'm with her. And then he's like, hey, do you want a script anyway? And I'm like, sure. And then I got the lead. And then from that, it's honestly this...
Because you're shooting something at least on regular, probably every quarter, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing the progress it's been. It's really who you know. In LA, I'm sure it would be just because there's a huger network of people that things would move quicker.
But you know what, though, just for the record, I just want to put this on the air. I don't mean to cut you off because you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
The 20 versus 30-year-old actor range. What were you saying to me about that?
Well, that was one thing. The last movie I just did, his name's Johnny Stapleton, awesome actor. He's a brilliant writer and director himself. He's about my age. He's 31. Originally from Midwest, born in Sioux Falls. I remember he was mentioning his family's from Omaha, Nebraska. But then I think he's lived in L.A. now. I think he said the last 8 years. But he wrote his own short film kind of. But he acted as I think it was 7 different characters. And he wrote it and everything, and he won this festival. But he was mentioning just him being about the same age as I am. He's like, that's one thing he's noticed in L.A. is there's so many people, obviously, that want to do this, and this is the dream, but a lot of them are right after high school, hey, I'm going to move to L.A. So he's like, it's amazing auditions he's been on and everything.
Yeah.
How many, 18 to 20-something-year-old people are there auditioning, but in, the 30-year-old ranges, it's definitely... a little more slim pickings,
right.
Which is nice because, if
you're lucky, though, because you could obviously play a probably mid to late 20s.
Yeah, when I shave, I have a complete baby face.
Yeah. So I have a question for everyone at the table. So let's start with Mrs. Infamous. If you could have played the role in any movie you've ever seen, a dream role, I know you're not an actress, but if you could...
Showgirls.
Hello, yes I am.
If you could have gotten to play any role, which one would you have picked?
I don't know if I can answer that.
Take a stab at it.
I have no idea. My favorite movie is Inception, but I don't...
So you would be Tom Hardy?
Oh, yes. Was he even in that movie? Oh, yeah,
yes.
He was. Okay. I was I was Tom Hardy, not in that movie.
All right. Marie, if you could have had any role, what would you have picked?
I like period films, so I
Like
think
films where girls are on their period?
I love
Like,
bloody films.
I would be Mrs. Darcy.
So like Braveheart.
No. I'd be Mrs. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. Yes.
Guy who has sex with guys. Because she doesn't like the word F. All right, so for Alan, since you're the actor here, and I know you're a huge cinephile, so it's probably going to be hard to narrow down to one. But if you could have had one role ever, let's say, since you've been alive,
It'd be Bond.
what would you pick?
Since I've been what?
Since you've been alive.
Oh, since I've been alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. James Bond would be amazing.
You're not British.
Sure, you know.
Give us your British accent.
Daniel,
I dared you to even do a British accent. You wouldn't do it. Let
I'm
me hear
not
it.
that good.
Let me hear it.
I sound Australian.
So let's say this.
How do you like your martini?
Say Mrs. Infamous breasts are fantastic in a British accent.
I